Welcome to the Dream Nation Breakfast Club, where we gather together every single Tuesday morning. I'm your host, Josh Valentin, and the Dream Nation Breakfast Club is brought to you by the Journey Podcast. And really happy to be here with you all as always. And today we have a very value-packed session for you guys. And today's topic is going to be the 5 questions to ask yourself every morning to stay aligned with your vision. So before we get kick-started, let us know where in the world you are tuning in from. If you are watching live, drop an L. If you're watching a replay, drop an R in the comments. Let us know what cities you are tuning in from. We typically have people who tune in from different parts of the world here on the Breakfast Club. So happy to be here with you all, of course. And it's always nice every single Tuesday. For those of you who are new, welcome. If this is your very first time, maybe you were like a fly on the wall and you were invited. Maybe you kind of being nosy on someone's social media and saw them share or tag you or something like that on the Breakfast Club. And if you're new, welcome. The Breakfast Club, in case you're wondering, is where we gather together every single week and we cover all topics centered around personal development, life coaching, and essentially anything that could make your life better. So every week is something a little different. Sometimes we may be covering topics around psychology or well-being or health and fitness, a mindset, entrepreneurship, things like that. So welcome, everyone. I see we have people tuning in from all over. So shout out to all of you tuning in from, I see we got New York in the house. We have Jersey, we have Florida, we have Jamaica, we have Texas. Welcome. Shout out to everybody tuning in on the West Coast, of course, especially those of you who are live. I know many people who tune in from the West Coast get up super early every week to be able to catch this live. And by the way, if you would like to engage with us live every single week, you can just hop over to dnbreakfastclub.com, DN as in Dream Nation, breakfastclub.com. And that's where you can engage with me live. So the Breakfast Club is streamed on many different social media platforms. I have my YouTube channel. Make sure you follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And we also have it live streaming on Instagram and LinkedIn, and Facebook doesn't really allow us to live stream the way we used to. So we've been posting up the recording. So for those of you who are tuning in via Facebook, you may want to hop over to IG or just hop over to the live stream link. So we're about to get the show on the road. And once again, if you're new, the first 30 minutes typically will cover things centered around life hacks, fun facts, different personal development shares before jumping into the topic for the day. So I have some valuable shares for you all. And let's get us kickstarted with some life hacks. So here we go. First life hack is to remember more of what you read. Summarize what you learned out loud or teach it to someone. This reinforces memory and comprehension. So what you vocalize, you internalize, as I oftentimes say here on the Breakfast Club. So super important to teach whatever it is that you're learning. And that's why even here on the Breakfast Club, I oftentimes will recommend that people take notes and also teach this information. Take notes as if you're going to have to teach it to someone. And the more you actually vocalize this information and teach people and mentor people on a lot of these concepts, the more likely you are to make them your own. And they're going to stick. So that's a big reason why, like on my personal development journey, I've always been a huge proponent for sharing information that I learned, because I knew that the more I taught it, the more I was likely to embody it. Okay, here we go. Next up, we have really good life hack here, and that's fresher veggies longer. So if you want fresher veggies longer, wrap leafy greens in a paper towel before putting them in the fridge. It absorbs moisture and keeps them crisp longer. So really great life hack for those of you who are big into nutrition. And we also have another one, and this is a screenshot hack. So instead of taking multiple screenshots of a long web page, use your phone's full page capture. So you have this feature on iOS, Safari, and Android Chrome, and it allows you to save one scrolling image. So really great life hack. I actually learned that this morning for the very first time. And I have some fun facts for you all. So here we go. The very first fun fact is a day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus. It spins slowly, but orbits the sun faster. How crazy is that, right? I know, like, the Earth, for those of you who don't know, the Earth spins at over 16,000 miles per hour. Isn't that interesting? Like, it rotates at over 16,000 miles per hour. That's how fast we're spinning right now around the sun. And a day on Venus is crazy. It actually is the opposite. It doesn't spin very fast, and it orbits the sun faster than it spins on its rotation. And here we go. We have another fun fact, and that is your brain uses about 20% of your body's energy, even though it only makes up 2% of your weight. So a lot going on in that head. And lastly, we have the heart of a blue whale is so big that a human could swim through its arteries. So really interesting. All right. So let's jump into some more personal development shares. Welcome, everyone. I see we have people tuning in from all parts of the world. So always happy to have you guys with us. Shout out to everybody hopping on right now. And please, if you guys don't mind, drop a like, comment, share, tag someone who can get value from this. Subscribe if you can subscribe. It most certainly helps get the Breakfast Club out there. So thank you for those of you who also not only subscribe, but also those of you who share stars on Facebook is greatly appreciated. Those of you who are, subscribed to my Patreon, all of that stuff, always greatly appreciated. Love the support. And of course, I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it wasn't for you guys. So next up, we have cultivate the feelings of excitement and passion. These can turn any challenge into a tremendous opportunity, giving us the unbridled power to move our lives forward at a faster tempo than ever before. Ignite your passion by using your physiology, speak more rapidly, visualize images more quickly, and move your body in the direction you want to go. So oftentimes I'll talk about how your body and brain are interconnected, and your body at all points in time throughout the day is actually influencing your brain in a lot of ways. Like, think about it. Whenever you're out and about and you're moving, or maybe you're out and it's a beautiful day and a lot of sunshine, and you just automatically feel better when you're going for a walk, or maybe after a jog. And there's a few biochemical reasons for that, whether that's the serotonin benefits that you get from sunlight, or the dopamine benefits that you get from a good walk, or maybe you get the endorphin benefits, which endorphins mask pain. And these chemicals all basically make you happier. So that's why it's so beneficial to just get your body moving. A body in motion stays in motion. So again, ignite your passion by using your physiology, speak more rapidly, visualize images more quickly, and move your body in the direction you want to go. So it's super helpful to know how to use your body to influence your behavior. Next, we have determination makes the difference between being stuck and being struck with the lightning power of commitment. Merely pushing yourself won't do it. Putting yourself in a state of determination will. So again, determination makes the difference between being stuck and being struck with the lightning power of commitment. Determination, one of the greatest nations in the world. So it is super important to just have determination with whatever it is that you're going for. So next we have balance, courage, and consideration. Balance, courage, and consideration. Pick an area where you would like to have more courage. Write down your point of view. Share your ideas and opinions with confidence. So this is super important. I know I'm in a stage, for example, I'm embarking on a lot of different new passions, new interests. So I was just out in Spain and Portugal, and many of you probably have heard me mention how many of my ancestors are actually from Spain and Portugal and migrated over to Puerto Rico. And one of the things that I was just super passionate about after leaving the Iberian Peninsula is just learning a lot about my cultural heritage and just getting more involved with activism and learning a lot about the history of my ancestors. And I've kind of been in this process for a while, especially since tracking like my bloodline through ancestry. And for those of you who've never like really studied your ancestry, I definitely recommend it. If you're on a path where you want to learn more about yourself, you want to feel more deeply connected with your culture, with your ancestry, it's super, super important to actually take the time to study where your ancestors come from and study their struggles. And it could actually bring so much meaning and significance to yourself. And it is a beautiful thing to be tied to your culture and have an understanding for it. And I recently have felt like after leaving Spain, I felt like I had a moral obligation to ensure that my culture didn't die in my generation, right? Because if I don't pass it on to my boys, my three sons, then it's very unlikely that it'll continue on. And it would just be such a shame to not pass it on. So I've been getting super, super passionate about even just studying Puerto Rican culture and the history and the land. And that's where my ancestors are from. And a big part of my bloodline are the indigenous people who inhabited the land before everyone. They were the very first inhabitants of that land. So having that deep connection is just so profound. And it is a good thing to, have an understanding. So like, for example, if your ancestors come from Africa, like go to Africa, take a trip to Africa and learn African culture. And that was one of the things that I did as well. A couple of months ago, I went out to Cape Town, South Africa, and Zimbabwe, and met a lot of our ancestry are from the Bantu people and basically on the Ivory Coast of Africa. So I still have a long way to go on this journey, but it's just so rewarding and fulfilling to have a deeper connection with your ancestry. So highly recommended. And for me, this is like an area of courage, actually just embarking on this and becoming more vocal and expressive about this. And especially in the realm of activism, like I've never been heavily involved in activism specifically, but I'm kind of in the process of just like learning a lot about it. I always knew that it would go in this direction. And it's also like important for me. As you guys know, I'm huge on empowerment. I'm huge on personal development and anything that could help human beings thrive. I've dedicated my entire life to this. So it goes hand in hand, and it is important to expand upon your work, whatever it is that you're doing, and always ensure that whatever you're doing, you're living a life of service. You're living a life of contribution, because that's ultimately what's going to bring you the most fulfillment in life, is living a life of service dedicated to other people. Next, there's pick a situation where you need to demonstrate more consideration. Focus on acknowledging others, not interrupting, and making sure everyone has a chance to be heard. Super, super important, especially for those of you in leadership roles. Next, ask yourself, are there relationships in which you lack courage or consideration? What price are you paying? To be highly effective means to be courageous. We are willing and able to speak our thoughts respectfully. It also means being considerate. We are willing and able to seek out and listen to others' thoughts and feelings with respect. So here's a really great quote by Stephen Covey. And by the way, this is a snippet from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If people can express their feelings and convictions with courage, balanced with consideration for the feelings and convictions of others, they are mature, particularly if the issue is very important to both parties. So super, super important. All right. Next, we have today's topic. So we're about to jump into that, and happy to be here once again with you all. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. Drop a comment. And if you're watching the live with us right now, again, drop an L in the comments. Watching the replay, drop an R. And maybe you're just tuning in to the Breakfast Club, and this is like a year in advance. Maybe you're in 2026 or 2027 and you're listening to the recording of this. Welcome to you as well. So one of the beautiful things about the Breakfast Club is it's on my podcast, the Journey Podcast. And if you've never been on my podcast, I actually interview some really interesting people. So the last interview that I did was with my best friend and my best friend's wife, who's also my best friend, Vicky. And they're like the godparents to one of my sons. I've been doing life with them for a lot of years. I've traveled around the world with them over the years, and just talking to them about all different things centered around travel, marriage, content creation, all of that made for a really great conversation. So hop over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe as well. And I have another episode that's about to be released by a psychologist. And this is a psychologist who specializes in trauma. And I love interviewing industry experts. Many of you probably know of my work from television. And oftentimes I'm featured amongst a lot of incredible industry experts. And I love interviewing them and just kind of getting their perspective on things. So make sure you hop over to the journey. It's not just me on there. You can actually listen to a lot of phenomenal interviews from people that I've just had over time. And I know we have some of our past guests on the journey here on the Breakfast Club with us as well. So let's continue to keep this show going. All right, the 5 questions to ask yourself every morning to stay aligned with your vision. So have you ever had a day where you were just killing it when it came to your to-do list, but you still fell a little bit off? Like you were busy, but not aligned. That's because action without alignment leads to burnout, not progress. So today we're going to be sharing 5 powerful questions that you can ask yourself every single morning to realign with your vision and start your day with clarity, confidence, and conviction. So let's get to it. All right. So this episode specifically is going to be for the dreamers, all of our Dream Nation community, the builders, the ones walking with purpose. Whether you're running a business, raising a family, or even just currently in the process of reinventing yourself. These questions are going to help you stay focused on what actually matters. So let's get to it. The very first question: what am I building and why does it matter? What am I building and why does it matter? If you guys don't mind, drop a comment on what are you currently building and why does it matter for you? So prime example for me, one of the things that comes to mind is building my family. So I have children and I would hope to have at some point in time grandchildren and build a entire lineage of family members. And that's something that I'm very, very just focused on. Like I'm always thinking about my children's future and what it looks like for us and making sure that I'm improving their quality of life and that they're properly educated. And if you don't know, actually, my wife and I, we homeschool our kids and they're actually in the Bahamas right now with their grandparents. And we're huge on just their education and world schooling them and all of that. So that's what comes to mind. Also, building businesses. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have many different businesses and a lot of businesses that I'm super passionate about, whether it's my businesses in the travel industry or the work that I do as a coach and consultant and a speaker, and building my podcast. So I have a traveling podcast. So also building a podcast that has really cool production sets and everything like that, and capturing some really inspiring stories. These are all things that I'm currently building out. And why does it matter? It matters because it's making a difference in the world. It's making people's lives better. For those of you who have hopped on to the Breakfast Club over the years, if you don't mind, by the way, if you've ever hopped on to the Breakfast Club and it's had a profound impact on your life, right? Just drop a 1 in the comments. Drop a 1 in the comments. I want whoever's tuning in to see that like this has genuinely been adding value. And it's always reassuring for me when I get all the positive comments and feedback. I read through all my comments, by the way, and I appreciate the feedback because it is reassuring to know that I'm not wasting my time every single Tuesday, right? And we've added a lot of value. And I have people all the time come up to me and talk to me about how this has made a major impact on their lives. So it does matter, not only to me, but also to a lot of people whose lives are better, or maybe they just wake up their Tuesday morning with a lot more motivation, ready to take on the week because of this work. So every week I have to remind myself, because let's be honest, sometimes we get a little discouraged. Sometimes life is lifing, bills are billing, and you just really have no motivation to continue to move forward, and you're burnt out, and and you get like highly discouraged. So it is important to always realign yourself with your why. Realign yourself with why what you're building matters, not only to you, but also to the world, to your family, to your community. Okay, so here's a really great prompt. Okay, and understand, in terms of why it matters, vision leaks over time. We forget the why behind the work. So this question specifically grounds you in your purpose. Okay, so here's a really great prompt. Close your eyes and ask, what am I building? Think about that for a second. Just take some time to let that marinate for a bit. What am I building? Are you building a legacy? Are you building a movement? Financial freedom? A better world for your kids? Whatever it is, right? Bring it back to center every single morning. How different would you live if every single morning you got back realigned with why you are building what it is that you're building? We tend to forget. Sometimes we get so inundated with different aspects of life and so overwhelmed, but we genuinely forget that, hey, what I'm building truly matters. Okay. And this will help give you the motivation whenever you feel down and out, whenever you feel discouraged. So here's a really great tip. Write your answer in a visible place. So a journal, a phone lock screen, or a sticky note. It could be literally where you brush your teeth, the mirror that you look at every single morning when you brush your teeth. Maybe you got to do some mirror work and speak life into yourself. Speak positive affirmations and incantations, things that are genuinely just feeding you, feeding your mind, feeding your emotions, and realigning yourself with your vision and why it genuinely matters. I love the Breakfast Club, honestly, because sometimes, guys, like, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm also talking to myself. It's like just reminding me of why it is that I do what it is that I do. So next we have, and by the way, before I jump into the next question, make sure you're like taking time to just journal, even if it's just on your phone. What I've discovered, like, I love journaling, but just the process of taking out the pen and actually writing in the book and all of that, I'm not gung-ho about it. But on my phone, I noticed that I can journal all day, every day. I can just type my thoughts and express whatever it is that I'm thinking or feeling on my phone all day, every day. And what I've been doing recently is I'll write in my phone the way I would write in my journal. So I'll put my location, I'll put the time of the journal entry, and sometimes I may put a title on it. And these are really great journal entries that even if you decide later on to write them down right from your phone, it's still great. Like, just whatever is going to encourage you or just push you to express yourself more through journaling is always going to be a great approach to your personal development. So take notes, like, and ask yourself these questions, but take time to actually write them down. Next, the second question is, what does the highest version of me look like today? What does the highest version of me look like today? Imagine if you started your morning every single morning like that, and you genuinely just thought about it. Like, how can I show up for the world today? And why does it matter? Your vision, always understand that your vision demands a new level of you. This question sets the tone for intentional action and character development. So think about that. Life is all about how you show up in the world. It's 90% of life is not necessarily it's not what's happening to you. It's like how you respond to what happens to you and how you show up. Like, things happen to all of us. Life is life for everybody. But how do you show up in the world? How do you respond? Remember, responsibility is your ability to respond. So when times get tough or you find yourself dealing with a very tumultuous situation, how do you show up in the world? Very important. Okay, so how does the best version of you think, act, walk, talk? How do they handle obstacles? What energy do they bring into a room? Do you come into a room and just light the room up? Do you bring the energy? Do you bring great ideas? Do you bring excitement? Or are you sucking the energy out of a room? You've ever been around some energy vampires and like they come into the room and it's like all the oxygen is just stripped out of the room because they're so damn negative or toxic, right? But how do you show up in a room? How do you make people feel when you're around them? Okay, so very, very essential. Next, we have a daily focus. And the daily focus should be dress, speak, move, and think from the future version of yourself and start embodying that now. A great mentor of mine once said, and I always go back to this saying, and that is, you are who you say you are until you prove otherwise. You are who you say you are until you prove otherwise. So if you say that you're a confident person, a bold person, someone who takes action, someone who doesn't procrastinate, then that's who you are until you prove otherwise. At any point in time, you can reinvent yourself. At any point in time, you can make a commitment to just change the way you behave. Remember, your personality determines your personal reality. So you can always, at any point in time, refine your personality, refine how you show up in the world, refine your behavior, refine your habits. It's just a matter of decision. And once you make the decision, you have to actually be consistent with that over time. And then what happens is, as time goes on, people start to know you as this person. You start to change your very identity. And it is important to sometimes change your environment, change your friends, because your friends are looking at you and your family are looking at you as the old version of you. And they're not seeing the internal work that's going on. So sometimes it is good to just create a new tribe. You could always start over. Like 3 years ago, I wasn't even living in this city. I moved to a brand new city, took my family of 5, and moved to an entirely new city that I had never lived in before. And at any point in time, you can start your life over, start building new community and getting around different environments and changing the way you eat, all of that stuff. So that's the beautiful thing about life. You can consciously choose how you want to live your life and who you want to be at any given moment. Okay, next question, number 3. What's the one thing I can do today that moves me closer to my dream? So another way of asking this is, what's something that I can do today that my future self would thank me for, right? And why does it matter? Because it's easy to drown in the noise of daily tasks. And this question cuts through the clutter. So every single day, right? What is your, I always say it's good to have a big 3, or sometimes I refer to it as your 3 to thrive. The 3 things that you can do today to really move the needle in your life and get you to where you want to be. And that can be with your health. That can be with your business or your career. That can be financially. But what are 3 things that you can do today that are really going to make the biggest difference in your life for what it is that you truly want? What do you want more than anything? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to launch a podcast? Do you want to build a business? What is it exactly that you want to do? You want to get back in shape, right? You want 6-pack abs. But what can you do today that your future self would thank you for? And it is important to set your intention for the day, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, as cliche as that is. But you have to set your intention for the day. If it's not on your calendar, chances are it's not going to happen, because something else is going to pull your attention. Especially in this day and age, we're in the attention economy. So every single company out in the world are trying to grab your attention. All right. Now, next up, remember, this isn't about busy work. It's about impact. So maybe it's sending that bold email, starting that project, making that call, writing that first chapter, whatever it is. Do something today and block out time on your calendar. I recently had someone I did a mentorship call a couple of days ago, and I had basically mentioned to the people that I was mentoring. I had got the question like, how can I follow through and not procrastinate on something that I know I should be doing? And the biggest recommendation that I could give is, first and foremost, schedule it. Schedule it. If what you know you should be doing isn't on your calendar for the day, then you're not that serious. You don't want it that bad. If you really want it bad, get it on your calendar, because you're far more likely to actually execute on that thing. Another thing is eliminate distractions. So if you know at 2 p.m. you're going to take that specific action, whatever it is, you're going to make that phone call, you're going to write in that book or put in that journal entry or reach out to that podcast guest, whatever it is. If you have other things that you're doing during that time, it's very unlikely to happen. So you want to make sure that you're eliminating distractions. Engineer your environment so that it's most conducive for success. You don't want to be in environments that are constantly grabbing your attention. So for example, if you're a parent, I got 3 little ones. I know how it is. Sometimes you're around your kids and they're occupying so much mental space. Or you're in your home and you're in your comfort zone and you got all kinds of things that are pulling at your attention. Maybe it's social media. Sometimes it is essential to even delete the apps temporarily if you have to, because if you find yourself doom scrolling, then that's grabbing your attention. So you always want to eliminate distractions and start small. Don't overwhelm yourself with big tasks. Remember, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, as the cliche saying goes. So you want to take those micro steps and build on your momentum, as opposed to just overwhelming yourself with really big tasks. Okay. Number 4, the 4th question is, what's draining me that I need to let go of? And this is a really good one. Really good one. I remember over the years, I'd have these accountability groups. Many of you guys were a part of them within our business community. And I was just really stretching myself thin and doing the most. I've been so big on just mentoring people and serving and pouring into people and holding them accountable and coaching them. And I was kind of losing myself in the process. And there have been seasons where I had to realize like, hey, I get it. Like, you've been pouring into this small group of people, but it's time to move on. It's time to let go and like continue to focus on things that are really making the biggest difference. And it's okay to really evaluate and self-assess everything that you have going on and ask yourself, like, is this really draining me? Is this really getting me to where I want to be? And it's okay to let go of certain things that no longer serve you. And I've done it on many occasions. Sometimes it's relationships. Sometimes it's just that friend that you've been hanging out with and that relationship is not really growing you, right? It is important when you're in a friendship, like, there should be a mutual exchange of value. You should both be helping each other improve in life, because if not, then what are you doing? Remember, universal law states that you're either growing or dying. There's no in between. There's no like plateau. Plateaus don't exist in the world. We have what you refer to as entropy, right? So the universe is in a constant flux of change. There's no just stagnation when it comes to life. So you're either in a state of growth or you're in a state of decay. So if you are in a relationship with someone, even if it's just a friendship, and you guys aren't growing, listen, I can almost assure you that it's the opposite. You're both in a state of decaying, right? So it is important to help, your friends and have friends that are helping you get to the next level in life. Okay. So again, what's one thing that's been stealing your energy and how can you release it today, even if it's just something small? And an example could be negative self-talk. Sometimes it's just your self-talk and the way you go about your life, a grudge, a procrastination, clutter, a toxic relationship. I had a client last night where we just focused on cleaning up their home because remember, you guys oftentimes hear me mention that a cluttered home is a cluttered mind. A cluttered mind is a cluttered life. Your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. So the best thing that you can do when you find yourself in a space where you're in a funk, maybe you're confused, maybe you just lack clarity in general, and you don't really know what's the next step, the best thing that you can do is clean out your space. In fact, the other day, I had a very slow Sunday. I didn't really do much work, and I felt like I kind of wasted my Sunday. And towards the evening, I just had this spark of inspiration to just start cleaning and set the tone for the rest of the week. And sometimes it's just small things like that. It's not even like business milestones or anything like that. Sometimes it's just cleaning your space. That's what you need to just get your mind right. Okay. Sometimes it's literally just picking out your outfits for the week and making sure that you show up right with how you dress and present yourself. So all kinds of things. So it is just essential to take time to just really reevaluate where you are in this season of your life. Okay, especially for those of you who maybe you've had a slow start to the second half of the year. So prime example, I love traveling, and traveling is a big part of my life, a big part of my identity, a big part of what brings me joy. And I noticed that for the first half of the year, I hadn't really traveled anywhere internationally. And I'm like, man, not only did I not travel anywhere internationally, but I didn't really have any plans to go anywhere for the rest of the year. It was one of those years where I was just so focused on work and so focused on all kinds of different obligations that I didn't really take time to plan out a really great vacation. I was originally planning on going to Colombia with a lot of you guys, but it ended up getting postponed, and I didn't have any plans to like travel anywhere. So randomly, my wife and I are just like, let's go to Europe. Let's go to Spain. Let's go to Portugal. And just on a whim, we had dipped out. And again, for us, it was just taking time to really evaluate where we were for the year. Because one of the things that I do, and I highly recommend this, at the end of the year, reflect back on your year and take some time to really say, okay, well, how was this past year? And I can assure you, for those of you who travel, when you look back at your year, oftentimes it's those distinctive memories that flash before your eyes. It's the travel that you value the most. It's those peak life experiences that you value the most, or maybe major milestones or major accomplishments. But that's the value of just traveling. Last week, by the way, if you didn't hop on to the Breakfast Club, I definitely recommend checking it out, because that's what it was all about. It was just talking about specifically travel and how beneficial it is to your life. So it is really, really good to just plan that out and intentionally just put on your calendar time to just do something different. Do something different. And for us, after reevaluating the first half of the year, we're like, man, yeah, we want to be able to look back at this year and say like, wow, it was a great year. It was a great year. So like our kids going to the Bahamas, it's important for us to get our kids just integrated with their culture, with their heritage. And that's why it is important for us to send them back to the islands, because it's a big part of like just who we are as a people. And we don't want our kids to just, be out here on their tablets all day and on their computers all day, just gaming. It is important for them to just get exposed to different cultures. So that was like a major milestone, but it's also about the other areas of your life, right? Many of you hear me talk about the 5 F's: faith, fitness, family, fortune, and fun. And where are you when it comes to your faith and spirituality? Where are you when it comes to your fitness, mental, emotional, and physical fitness? Where are you when it comes to your family or just your friends, right? Your relationships in general. Where are you when it comes to your fortune, building wealth? How are you going about building your wealth? And financially, finances are a big part of life, right? And are you making progress or are you going backwards? Where are you when it comes to your lifestyle and your fun? So taking time to really reset. And the thing about it, you guys know I'm big on resets. We oftentimes reset as a community. We had just launched a 21 Days to Transformation Challenge to kickstart the second half of the year. Every quarter I reset and encourage people to reset. But truth of the matter is you can reset every single day. Every day you can choose to just reset with everything. Okay. Give yourself some grace. Maybe you've had a few off days and you do not have to wait till 2026 to just go for a reset. That can happen at any moment in time. Last question. Who needs me to show up fully today? Who needs me to show up fully today? Think about that for a second. Let it marinate a little bit. And chances are it's your family, it's your friends, it's your coworkers, your peers, your community. There are people who are genuinely counting on you. And it is important to reflect on that, because for some of us, we'll do more for others than we'll do even for ourselves. We'll go hard in the paint for other people. I sometimes I've got friends who are going through it, and I'm like, I got you. Like, let's get to this bag. Let's figure out something. Let's put in some work. Let's get you out of this situation. Like, people rise up when family and friends are going through hardships and it's very close to home, and you want to help them, right? Because we know what it's like to go through that struggle. And some of you have had friends who showed up for you at your worst, and you want to show up for them and return the favor for those moments that they showed up for you. So who needs you to show up today? And maybe it's just you that needs you, but chances are you've got people who are depending on you. If you work a job, then your company is depending on you. If you work a business, your customers, your clients, they're depending on you. So it is essential to show up fully today for those people that you lead, for those people that you serve, for those people that you care about. And why does it matter? Because your vision isn't just about you. Someone else's breakthrough might depend on your presence today, on your commitment today, on your determination today, on your hustle today, on your focus today. Someone's breakthrough, someone there that is going to be truly blessed because you showed up for them. 90% of life is just showing up. Like, it's not that complicated. A lot of people just don't show up. Don't show up. Get in the game and just show up. Show up for opportunity. Go to the networking event, right? Take that call, whatever it is, but show up fully. Now, remember, your clients, your kids, your team, your followers, who need you to show up sharp, grounded, and powerful? And chances are it's most of the people that you do life with. Okay, so the shift is to let this question pull you out of survival mode and into service mode. Getting you out of survival mode, because survival mode will have you with the mindset of, let me just do what I got to do for me. And everything kind of turns inward in your life. Everything is self-fulfilling at that point. Everything is like, when you're in survival, survival will draw out the very worst in a human being. It'll draw out the very worst for a marriage, for parenting. When you're in survival, everything is based on fight or flight, or even freeze, where you do jack squat and you become apathetic because you don't really know what to do. And that is one of the worst places to be. But when you shift your perspective and you shift your focus on the people that you serve, it allows you to get out of survival mode and show up for people fully, right? Show up in a spirit of service. And that's what it's about, because a leader is someone who can bring certainty to an environment where there is none. So when the world is going to the shits and everybody's in chaos, you want to be the calm in the storm. You want to be the rock. You want to be the foundation. You want to be a safe space for people, just real solid on an even keel when everybody's just all in chaos, especially for the men who are on that. Like, that is part of our essence as men, as a part of our masculinity, to be a source of strength and pillars in our family. And we have to show up for the woman in the world. Like, yeah, women can lead as well. But I just feel like in this generation, men have stopped being men. And we need to show up fully for our women, for our children, for our families, for our communities. Like we've allowed this world to like soften us and just diminish our strength. And it is important for us to rise up and be strong. Like I'm a huge proponent for healing, and I'm a huge advocate for breaking generational cycles and overcoming trauma and all of these different things. But you know what? Like we're also going in a direction where men are now just constantly just venting about having to heal from their dads or having to heal from the divorce or just, you know, being in tune with their emotions and all of that. And that, like, that's cool. But understand that at some point in time, like our women need us to show up with strength and with masculinity and not just venting all the time. Like, yeah, be expressive. Yes, talk about what you're feeling, but at the same time, be a pillar of strength, of like just a strong foundation, right? Like a lot of people are already emotional enough. Be the person that heals, right? And is not subjecting themselves to toxic masculinity and not becoming a narcissist and all of these different things. But at the same time, it's like, be a damn man, you know, be a man, be someone that people can go to for strength. We need that more than ever before in this world. We need like the sacred masculine to rise up in this generation, especially during these very difficult times. Okay, so I know that can be very controversial for a lot of people because the masculine and feminine are always just at war with one another, in this generation especially, right? But we need to step into our divine gifts and our spiritual gifts. And masculine beings have specific spiritual gifts, whether that's discipline and order and bringing structure and organization, right? And feminine gifts may come with nurturing and love and all these beautiful things. And we all have different gifts that can help one another just become a better world, right? But you have to get back in tune with that and show up as yourself, okay? And the idea, again, is to go from survival mode into service mode. So remember that these 5 questions, they literally take less than 5 minutes to ask, but they'll change the trajectory of your day because you're setting your intention and eventually your life, right? So don't just wake up, but wake up on purpose. So just to recap the 5 questions. Number 1 was, what am I building and why does it matter? Number 2, what does the highest version of me look like today? Number 3, what's the one thing I can do today that moves me closer to my dream? Number 4, what's draining me that I need to let go of? Sometimes you just need to go into a season of spiritual selfishness and go through your eviction process. For people who've been squatting up in your mind rent-free, right? And you got to raise the rent or go through an eviction process, right? So that may be your season, just letting go of things, letting go of toxic relationships, letting go of environments that no longer serve you. And last but not least was number 5, who needs me to show up fully today? Your family, your friends, your community, your job, like who needs you to show up fully today? Okay, so try these questions this morning and let me know how it shifts your focus. Write me, on social media. And again, you can share these questions with your family, with your friends, and I can assure you that it will absolutely help someone who desperately needs to get back realigned with what it is that they're doing in the world. Okay, so with that being said, guys, thank you so much. God bless you all. And for those of you who've been long overdue for a coaching session, maybe it's been over 6 months since you've met with me in private. And many of you know that, every single week from time to time, I'll offer complimentary coaching sessions, or I'll just at least bring it up. Just DM me the word coach and I'll send you some, I'll send you my Calendly link, and I'll be more than happy to meet with some of you guys just to kind of help you get reset with everything, realigned with everything, and Sometimes all you need is just some accountability. Sometimes you just need a different perspective, or you need some type of coaching or mentorship to get to the next level. And I absolutely love serving our community here. And it's always an honor and privilege to be able to just be here with you every single Tuesday and help you navigate through this challenging world that we live in. And all in all, if you got value out of today's session, drop a V in the comment thread. Let us know that you got value. I read through all the comments. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And once again, thank you for those of you who subscribe, those of you who share stars and make a contribution. It's always greatly appreciated. And until next time, guys, God bless you all. Breakfast is served, and I'll be seeing you all next week. Take care.